capitalizing on your own athletic abilities to realize your career aspirations, or securing a quality education can often be a delicate balancing act in which to juggle, especially when your skill set puts you in a position to make such a decision. So, has the NBA done college athletes a disservice by instituting their one-and-done rule, or provided them with a platform for instant success? I'm Kevin McShan, and this afternoon I had the opportunity to speak with Oakland University head coach Greg Kampe to get some insight on this thought-provoking topic. So, Coach, as you know, opinions on this issue have ranged from both sides of the aisle. So I'm interested to know, what are your initial impressions of the NBA's one-and-done rule?
Well, I don't like the one-and-done, but I probably don't like it for other reasons than what most people think. You know, why do you go to college? I mean, why we all went to college. One, to have a good time, because everybody says that's the best 4 years of your life. But the second reason, the real reason you go, is to get yourself educated so you can go into the working world and make money. Well, a college basketball player who's good enough to go play professionally can go into the working world right now and use that 1 year of college from a basketball standpoint to be able to make millions of dollars. And that's what we all wanted to do, was make money and have a good quality of life. And a basketball player's working lifespan is short. My working life, I've been at Oakland 31 years. I hope to be here another 20. A pro basketball player, if they can go 20 years, is a dinosaur. It's a relic. So the actual time that they can make money might be 3 to 6 to 7 years. So if they stay in college, they're actually losing money. So the ability to go play in the NBA, I think we have to give that to the kids. And I think everybody's screaming about, is the guys that don't make it. That they leave after 1 year thinking they're going to make it, and then they don't, because there's only 30 teams, and there's only 2 or 3 roster spots that change every year. So you're only looking at 90 to 100 new players every year. So the bottom line is all those guys that think they could be in the NBA, they leave college early without their degree, and now they don't make it. That's why I think everybody's worried about.
Along those same lines, can you tell me, when you have a kid going to the NBA or going through that process, can you talk to me about the information or the information process on how the NBA gets the information out to those players, and what part of that system do you think needs to be tweaked, or how do you think we need to work that system?
Well, the NBA has, for their underclassmen draftees, they have a declaration period. And when we had Keith Benson a couple years ago, he wanted to declare for the NBA draft. So what we did is we filled out some paperwork that the NBA provides. It goes to their office, and then the NBA contacts maybe 2/3 of the general managers of the teams, and they say, would you draft Keith Benson? Do you believe Keith Benson's a draftable athlete? And where would you draft him? And nobody's held to this, but then those statistics are told, and it came back that Keith Benson was probably a mid to late second-round draft pick. So now the kid has an idea that if I come out, I'm probably not going to go in the first round.
And that would have to go through the undrafted free agent process.
Or if I go in the second, it's a non-guaranteed contract. The first round's guaranteed money. Second round's not. And then you go into the free agent. But for Keith, he's on that border. Now, what happens is all the people that surround the player, like Keith had a posse of people helping him. And so they might talk him into, no, I think that the NBA is wrong. It only takes one team to draft you in the first round. You know, if one program, one franchise said they would draft Keith in the first round, and he's drafted, then he's a first-round draft choice, and that's guaranteed money. So they have to weigh those things. There's no scientific way of doing it, and that's the issue. That's the problem.
And in your position as a coach here at Oakland. Can you tell me your role in that process and what you try to do when you advise your players?
Well, first of all, understand that most players have family that are pulling on them, and we're talking a lot of money. And a lot of money can change people's way of thoughts. Me as the coach, I firmly believe that I have to do what's best for the athlete. And so if Keith Benson, for say, when he declared that he was going to come out, if I knew that he was a first-round draft choice or a lottery pick, I would have been the first one saying, Keith, you need to go. You need to go because your window's short. So go make the money you can. And then Keith had already graduated, so I didn't have to worry about telling him you can come back. But if I had another player in that situation, I would promise that player, if you go and it doesn't work out, if you can come back and I will keep you on scholarship. Even though you can't play, I'll keep you on scholarship. Because one of my roles as the coach, when I take someone's son into my program, we promise we're going to do everything that we can to make sure they leave Oakland with their degree. And so that would just be part of that promise. Now, do all coaches do that? I don't know. But, and a lot of kids that don't make it in the NBA, they want to go make money playing basketball, and there's a market in Europe and in South America and in Australia, where and even in the Philippines, where you can make good money. So usually, even if they don't make it in the NBA, they get into that market. It's not NBA type money, but it's, you know, some of them can make $60,000 to $80,000 to $100,000 a year. And then when they're done with their playing career, our promise is always there that we'll help you get your degree.
And when you talk about recruiting, how does the one and done rule affect recruiting and your ability to build a program?
That doesn't affect Oakland, the one and done. I mean, we've only had one player ever that was thinking of coming out early. But I think the one and done, college basketball as an entity is going to survive because college basketball is not about the players. College basketball is about the schools. It's about the loyalty to the college that we went to, our alums and things like that. Now, will the quality of the basketball be better if everybody stayed? Yes. But the games are still going to be exciting. They're still going to be good. People are going to come. And maybe the quality level would be higher if everybody stayed. But it's still exciting, good basketball. And the college basketball game is not going to get ruined because of the one and done. Kids' lives can be ruined because of the one and done. And that's way more important than the game.
And when you talk about making a decision for student athletes, when you talk about their own family situation from a financial standpoint, can you just talk about how that may weigh into their decision?
Well, I think if you look at it and you went right down the line of who have been the lottery picks in the last 10 years, there's probably very few of those kids that had financial stability in their families. And when you all of a sudden you're talking about, you know, a 3-year, $10 million contract or a 2-year, $6 million contract or whatever these contracts are, that's a lot of money. Mm-hmm. And that changes people's lives. And so sometimes when you're in a situation where lives are going to be changed, sound decisions aren't always made. But you're affecting that whole family. And that's just the game. That's just who plays the game. And, you know, so those decisions could supersede what's really best for me. Because hey, if I can get some guaranteed money, I'm coming. I'm going to take it. And I would tell them to do it. I mean, again, I go back to that statement. We go to college to learn a craft. Mm-hmm. We go to get educated so that we can step out into the world and we can survive. A young man who can go and make $18 million in 4 years when he's 19 years old. I'll tell you this, I've been in the business a long time and I've been in the working profession for 36 years and I haven't made $18 million. So if they're smart and they get, you know, good guidance, that $18 million could take them a long way.
And in terms of the rule itself, do you think that kids should come out directly out of high school then in order to maximize their earning potential?
I think that if we did what baseball did, we would have more success. And what I mean by success, that means fewer kids that leave and don't make it. And what baseball does is you can be drafted out of high school, and then you can negotiate a contract. If you don't like it, let's say I'm an 18-year-old pitcher and I get drafted and the Tigers want to give me $200,000. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go to school. Now, if I go to school and turn that down, I have to stay in school for 3 years. And then there's a supplementary draft after my junior year, my third year from graduation. And I can go into then. And if I don't want to do that, I can get drafted again after the fourth year. So there's 3 times I could be drafted. And I think in the maturation of a baseball player and of an adult, I think that's really a good rule. There are a few, LeBron James needed to be drafted out of high school. Okay? There are others that by the time they're a junior, Keith Benson's a perfect example. Out of high school, he averaged 3 points a game in high school. He shouldn't have been drafted. After his junior year, maybe he could have been drafted. After his senior year, he was drafted. So I think you catch all 3 stages. And then the biggest thing is if you stay, if we draft you after your junior year, you only have 1 year left to catch up when basketball's over. A young man with only 32 credit hours to pick up will come back and do that. Where if he's drafted after 1 year and he's got 3 years of college left, statistics show he won't come back.
Just wrapping up this discussion, could you just summarize for me where you think the future of college basketball is headed with the one-and-done rule, and whether you think it'll have a long sustaining power?
I don't think college basketball is going to be affected by this as far as attendance, as far as teams. I think where you see maybe some quality of play, as I said earlier. So I don't see this as being a college basketball issue. This is a student-athlete issue. This is an issue for the student-athletes. Are we doing the right thing by the student-athlete by allowing this to happen? So there's so many kids come out. There's only 60 kids drafted, and there's more than 60 that come out. Mm-hmm. So it's more of a student-athlete welfare issue than I believe it is a college basketball issue.
And just finally, Coach, could you tell me what you're most looking forward to for Oakland's upcoming season and the areas you're looking to build upon from last year?
Well, for us this year, the thing that I'm excited about is we're kind of we lost a great player last year. And the year before that, we lost a great player. So we've had this Benson and Hamilton and Bader have come and gone. And now we're in a new era with new stars. And I'm kind of excited to see who's going to step to the forefront. Is it going to be Corey Petros? Is it going to be Khalil Felder? What new young man that came in? Max Hooper, a transfer. How will he be? And there's just so much up in the air. And we usually aren't in that situation. We usually know pretty much what we got. And so this is a year that, maybe it'll be a great year. Maybe it won't be. I don't know. I really can't. When somebody says, how are you going to be? I think we're going to be good, but I don't know.
So you're intrigued by this year then?
Very intrigued. That's a very good word. I'm going to steal that from you in other interviews, okay?
Well, thanks, Coach, for your time, and best of luck for this upcoming season for the Golden Grizzlies.
Thank you for being here.
For the Two-Man Advantage Podcast, I'm Kevin McShan.